My twin sister, while sitting 20 feet away from me, sent me a PM on my account about how I should unalive myself. My mom smirked when I cried. I've been a long-time lurker here, and I just need to vent about this because I am incredibly depressed and I feel alone. I went to NC with my family when I first left for college at 18. It lasted 2 years, and then it eventually went low contact because I felt guilty about not talking to them. My mom was extremely abusive. She would strangle us, punch us in the back, etc. You know how it goes. She never physically awed us when our dad was around, but the verbal awes was enough to make him consider leaving her. Because of this, I have severe depression and PTSD, and I had to go on medical leave from college. My mom begged me to come home for around 2 months before I gave in. I missed having a family, and I am so stupid for being weak and giving in. Since I've been back, my mom has been doing weird things. She'll want me to get drunk with her, but I really can't drink alcohol because I'm on Celexa. When I refuse to drink, she'll give me the silent treatment for a few days. I'm always getting the silent treatment, and it hurts. Today, my mom asked me if I wanted to just live here and not go back to school. That made no sense. Why would I want to not complete my education? Also, I don't like the constant silent treatments, so I don't like being here. I told her that I'd rather go back to school. She started yelling about how I could just go to the community college here. She started crying about how I didn't love her, and my dad told her to stop being dramatic. My sister came in and asked what happened. When my mom told her, she didn't say anything and just went on her laptop. My twin sister is beyond crazy. She once stalked a man for 6 months because the guy told him that she didn't know what she was talking about and should shut up. She found this guy's identity from a few Reddit comments and started physically mailing him things with unalive threats. She signed his Reddit username to everything. If I knew she had done this, I wouldn't have come here. My sister then sent me a PM on Reddit that said, "You dumb B-word. I hate you so much. You're a piece of trash, and I'm glad you were as-ed. No one loves you, and no one ever will. And how effing dare you make my mom upset. She has been kind to you, and all she wanted was for you to stay here. You're never going to be anything, and I know you've been feeling self-harming, so why stop feeling that way and just go unalive yourself? No one will care. Your boyfriend broke up with you last year, and I think that just goes to show that no one cares about you. I hope you get it again. But I should stop talking before you call the cops on me like you used to do to mom when we were kids. There's so much I'd love to say to you, but I don't want you to go snitching, and I don't want to be a bully." As soon as I saw that, I started crying, and I told my dad. He said my sister was out of line, but he can't discipline her, and if that's how she feels, she is entitled to feel that way. My mom came in and saw me crying and started laughing uncontrollably. I asked my sister why she would do something like that when I had only been nice to her. I sent her like $400 a month when I was in school because my parents are poor. I deleted my account immediately, and my sister said that she found my account because she put a tracker on my laptop. My dad only said that it wasn't nice. I have no idea how to cope with this. My cousin said that I can move in with them next month when they get back in the country. But that's such a long time away. Update. Edit. My dad keeps sending me texts telling me to call him immediately. I am not going to do that. Update to this. My hands are shaking, but I am on the way to a domestic violence shelter. I am very afraid. The family who is going to take me in said that my mom asked them not to get involved, and they didn't want to make her mad. She didn't even have to know I was there. My entire family has known about the Oz, and they tell me it's awful, but have never done anything. I look like a mess because it all happened fast. An object was thrown at me, and nasty things were said. My life was threatened. I didn't even have time to shower yet. I am receiving my medication. The DV shelter is paying for it. I'm afraid of getting judged because I actually rolled out of bed and look awful. But I had to escape. The shelter only gives me 30 days, so at my job interview, I think I'll be honest and tell them I really need the job because I'm in a shelter. It's at a cinema, so that would be nice. My friend and her parents live in my college town, and they said I could stay there. I just have to buy my ticket. Thanks for the encouragement, and I hope things will be okay for me. Update. Edit. Hey everyone, sorry for my lack of response in the comments. I wasn't feeling well, so I've been resting and doing self-care. Endometriosis sucks. Again, I appreciate the support from all of you. I wouldn't have had the strength if this sub didn't push me to leave that situation and give me reassurance. Wow, so it's been nearly 3 years since I posted on this forum, desperate for help. For some reason, these posts just popped into my head after all this time, and after rereading them, I just want to hug my former self because I had forgotten how bad things were. I also want to hug all of you for helping me. I wrote down the advice you gave me, and I used it. I really did. I may be a little vague to continue to preserve my identity. So here goes the last update to this saga. And it's a happy one. The shelter that I stayed in was very nice and brand new. The staff told me how cramped the other one was, so I'm very lucky that I arrived when I did. After the first day, my nerves relaxed, and I could just breathe. There were about 7 other women there, and we each had our own room with a nice bathroom. I was the youngest there, and the other women gave me advice about life. And they even did my makeup for interviews. We each took turns cooking per the rules, and we developed a nice rapport. The staff was so amazing, and they also talked to me about life. I felt so safe at this place because of the security. Oh, I almost forgot. A church group came to give quilts they had made for us, and I still have mine. Sometimes I snuggle with it and think of how far I've come. I love that quilt, and I wash it very carefully. We also had group and individual therapy, which really helped. I know every DV shelter experience isn't like this, but please don't be afraid to just leave when things get bad. Family Oz counts as domestic violence. I was able to find a job that paid more than the movie theater offered, and I told them that I didn't plan on going back to school in the future. Yes, it was a lie, but there was no way I could afford rent by working at a movie theater. I decided to look for my own place instead of just staying with the friend that offered it because I needed stability. And if things got bad, I didn't really have a support network and would have to start over. I had no reason to think things would go bad, but after leaving such a bad situation, I guess nothing felt secure for me. I rented a room, and my roommate was never home because he was a truck driver. I didn't feel very comfortable staying with an older man I didn't know, but I had very few options. He was very nice, and because our schedules never aligned, we left each other goodbye notes since we couldn't do it in person. I still have his note. I did go back to school the next semester when my medical leave was over, but not at my original school. I felt like I needed a fresh start, and my family knew about the old school anyway, so I applied to different schools. I got into a great school. I told my story of everything I had survived in the essay. When my sister told me that I wasn't going to be anything, she was wrong. And I think she knew she was wrong in her assessment of me. I graduated this year, and I have stability that I've never known before. Although I'm a few years older than I wanted to be when I graduated, I realized that sort of thing doesn't even matter. And the medical leave was beneficial. I just got engaged to a lovely man with a lovely family. They always tell me they're my family, and I'm so close with my future mill. I had food poisoning for the first time a few days ago, and my fiancé left the house at 2 a.m. to get Pedialyte just to make sure I was hydrated. And when I felt like I was never leaving the bathroom, he told me he was going to make lentil soup for me. I didn't have to ask or even say anything. When I was a kid and vomiting blood, my mom told me to go back to sleep. It feels nice to be treated this way, and sometimes I catch myself saying, "You don't have to," when he tries to do something nice to me. Anyway, he has 6 siblings, and they're like the siblings I never had. I learned to value myself and put myself first. I wasn't loved as a child, and so I did things for myself that I didn't get. No one made me feel special, so I did it myself. I make it a point to buy flowers for myself weekly. A therapist recommended this to me, and it makes a difference. No one cared that I was sick as a child, so I make sure that I rest and relax without disruptions when I'm sick. No one valued my personal time or space, so I have days where I don't even answer my phone and just spend time with myself. Things like that. Thanks again to everyone for helping me. When I made that last update, I was crying, and I really didn't think I was going to be okay. I was headed to a shelter with a 30-day stay, and I thought there was no way anything beneficial could happen in 30 days. I was very depressed and hopeless, and I had no idea things would have gone in such a positive direction. Second story. AITA for not letting my husband meet our firstborn child. My husband has a best friend, Anna. They've been friends for a long time and dated years ago, mutually deciding that it was best for them to remain friends. I've had no problem with this relationship until now. On the day that I gave birth, Anna's brother got into a car accident. My husband got a call from her in the middle of the night and asked him if he could drop her off at the hospital. Her brother was at an hour away from us since she was too scared to drive. My husband agreed, told me quickly while I was half asleep, and rushed out. A few hours later, I had contractions and called my husband. He didn't pick up after multiple tries, so I gave up and called my dad, who drove me to the local hospital 12 minutes away. I was so scared of giving birth alone since I've had about 3 miscarriages and 1 stillborn. My husband promised me that no matter what, he'd be there for me. Guess what? He wasn't. We called multiple times while I was in labor, And when he finally picked up my dad's call when I was giving birth, saying that he'd misplaced his phone in the chaos, my dad informed him that no matter how fast he drives anymore, he's going to miss the birth of his child. Well, my husband took that as, he's already screwed up, so it doesn't matter when he shows up at this point. So when he finally came, our daughter was about 5 hours old, and I'd already moved to the maternity ward. When he came, I refused to let him see our baby. Edit. I did let my husband hold and play with the baby after discharge because I was so high on emotions and was shaking when I saw him and didn't want it to negatively affect my time with the baby. I wanted her birth to be a happy time, and I was already struggling to feed her. My husband was in a bad state and told me to please let him see her. So I told him to stand by the window and hold the baby up so he could see her. I told him to then leave, and he'll be allowed to interact with the baby at my father's home when we're both well and out of the hospital, and that I was most likely divorcing him. He started bawling and apologizing, and he defended himself by saying that Anna's brother was in serious, critical condition, and although he's fine, Anna needed him. Though Anna's parents were there, she's not that close with them, and she was in an unbearable state. I told him that I didn't care, and that his daughter had already come second to him, and all she had done was be born. I'm putting my daughters and my health first and won't let her be sidelined. My husband agreed and left. However, Anna called me later and said that I was being controlling, and she'd never met someone as cruel as me for not letting a father see his baby. I told her that my husband made his decision, and that this was his doing, not mine. But now, I can't help but feel cruel in my actions, and like I'm depriving my baby of both her parents being together. My husband sees her for a few hours each day now, AITA. Edit. I feel like this is useful information, and could explain why I was so mad. Anna's brother was not in a life or death situation. He had serious injuries, but most were concentrated on his legs and arms. He did have a concussion, but gained consciousness soon. Anna was there along with both her parents, who managed all the hospital stuff. My husband was there as an emotional support for Anna. I did let my husband see our baby right after I got discharged. Edit. Husband saw baby, husband held baby, husband played with baby. I wanted a couple days of rest and bonding with the baby since my emotions were so high, and I was afraid that if my husband was a constant presence, I'd get stressed and something bad would happen. I told him as such. They spent time together, but I'm still cold around him. I may still be the arsehole, I don't know, but I'm still so mad at him. And it's not the first time he put Anna before me. I can forgive the other times since I could handle it, but this time was the straw. I was so scared to hold my baby because I was paranoid that the minute I touched her, something would happen to her, and no one was there to comfort me. I only had my dad, but he wasn't in the delivery room, which is why I'm not too keen on forgiving my husband. Also, we both knew the baby was due any time now, so I don't understand why my husband didn't have his phone on him. We even tried reaching out to Anna, but she didn't pick up either. After he learned I was giving birth, they already knew that Anna's brother was going to be all right. He spent that time making sure that Anna was okay, feeding her, and then waiting for the brother to regain consciousness. He could have come back after seeing his daughter to talk with the brother. He would have made it back in time. Edit. So many of you got it wrong. I'm not preventing him from ever seeing his baby. That is stupid and unreasonable. He literally saw her about a day later, when we were discharged and safely at my dad's home. He already didn't see her for 5 hours on purpose and put Anna first. I didn't think an additional day would make much of a difference. And it wasn't for him. He was happy to see the baby, and he spends time with her all the time. She's been there for 2 months now. And also, I'm not mad about the fact he went to see Anna. I'm mad that he didn't think we were a high priority to rush back to. He left me so quickly in the middle of the night when I was already late. He couldn't have left Anna in the care of her parents and rushed as soon as possible. She's not a child, and she doesn't have any mental health issues either. Edit 3. So sorry for all the edits. But someone just messaged me this. What if my baby was born stillborn again? He had no way to know since he and I didn't have any contact after I gave birth. Thank the stars. My baby is healthy and well, but it was a possibility. Edit update. Thank you everyone for your replies. I think that I was an arsehole for using my child against him, and I should have told him that he could hold him and then asked him to leave. So the divorce is probably going to happen. My brother is looking at lawyers for me. In the midst of this whole mess, this post made me realize I never checked on Anna's brother to see how he's healing because I was so irked by Anna. I called him, and he said that he was doing well and would be out of his wheelchair soon. He asked about me and the baby, how I was doing with the split, and if I was okay with my husband and Anna. I can't believe I was so oblivious. I thought they had an emotional thing going on because of this. And when I confronted my husband, he denied it and said me and our baby were his priority. And he made a mistake and was being dumb. Yay, no. Anna's brother kindly informed me that he and Anna's parents thought that my husband and I split when I was 7 months pregnant, and that Anna and him were back on. He showed up at the hospital as Anna's boyfriend, which is why they didn't bat an eye to the fact that he was there and not with his pregnant wife. Because apparently we split. Her brother's procedures were done well before the afternoon, so I don't know what my husband and Anna were doing for all those hours, but I don't even want to know. If you want more details, I can answer in a comment. Thanks to everyone for their kind words and advice. I will be moving back home and filing for full custody. I don't want my baby to grow up to be like her father or Anna. He can be a fun dad or whatever it is he wants to be. Last edit. I think I'm going to be taking a break from Reddit now because ranting on the internet doesn't seem healthy. Thanks to everyone for their support. I'll take it from here. Thank you for watching the video.